You've watched every tutorial, you've bought every course, you tried every strategy the guru screamed about on YouTube, and yet you're still not getting any digital product sales. And it's not because you suck, and it's not because your offer is weak. It's because you're focusing on everything except the thing that'll actually make you some money. So in this video, I'm gonna break down the reason why you're not getting in any sales and what you can do this week to fix it. Most creators think they have a product problem. When you don't, you have a people problem. And lucky for you, you're at the right place at the right time, because I'm the person that helps the people that think they have a product problem when they have a people problem. And I've made over 7 figures online in my business, and I had my very first digital product do a little over 900K. So I know a little bit about what I'm talking about here, and it's only gonna take me about 5 minutes to break this down. So if you don't have 5 minutes to spare, then you'll probably just never get the right kind of traffic, and without the right kind of traffic, you'll never have the right kind of leads, and without the right kind of leads, you never get any sales, and without any sales, you never get any money. So if you don't want to make any money online in your business, feel free to click off of this video and keep on not making any money online in your business, and just go watch a cat video or something like that. Or you'll probably have a better time watching some golden eagle videos. So yeah, watch some golden eagles like hunt goats off the sides of mountains and deers and foxes and whatnot. You'll have a swell time. But the problem that I see with a lot of what I like to call contentpreneurs, and these are the people that use content to drive traffic to their business, and that's what you need to be thinking is, you don't want to think as a content creator, right? You don't just want to try to get paid off of views and being popular. And majority of those people are broke. The people that are really making money online are these people that have offers that can add a transformation to somebody's life, and the vehicle to deliver that transformation is a digital product. And you might be sitting on a great idea or an ebook or a course or a masterclass, or you may have a community idea, but nobody knows that it exists because you don't have a solid pipeline. And a business without traffic is like a gym with no members. Like, it doesn't matter how nice the gym equipment is if nobody's coming in and using it. So if you want more sales, your job isn't to keep on tweaking your offer, it's to keep feeding your pipeline. So your first question every morning should be, what am I gonna do today to get this product in front of more people? If the answer is nothing, then you already lost today. And I truly mean that. So look, when I say that your job is to keep feeding your pipeline, I mean that. So let's say that this is your pipeline, or let's just say that this is a faucet, right? So let's say that this right here is the handle, this is the faucet. And your primary objective on a daily basis is to make sure that the water stays on. This is how we get the money right here. So how do we keep this pipeline full, and how on a literal day-to-day basis do we make sure that this handle stays on instead of off? And most creators are out here wasting time on everything except for the sole few things that are going to keep this handle on every single day. And when I say every single day, you literally have to be feeding your pipeline every single day. And most people can't feed their pipeline every single day because they're always changing up audiences every couple weeks or every few months. Like, they initially don't have some success, and then they go and they try to find a new niche. When they don't need a new niche, they need a new angle. And when they hop from one audience to the next all the time, what they don't realize is that they're resetting their reputation every single time. They never give themselves a true opportunity to build any momentum. So here's the new rule. You pick one audience, and matter of fact, within that audience, you need to take it a level deeper. You need to build out one avatar. And your avatar is going to be the one person that you are looking to help. Your avatar is going to be the one person that you are looking to serve. And that's why most people can't garner any audience online. It's because they're trying to focus and cater to everybody instead of somebody. And that's one of the main reasons why they can't ever sell their offers, because nobody knows who it's actually for. And when I talk to these entrepreneurs also, because I have a community and I speak to hundreds of people about this, they can't even explain who it is that their product's for. So I'm like, if you can't explain who it's for, how is somebody supposed to know that it's for them? So pick one avatar that you can actually help and go deep. That's what she said. And by doing this, this is how you actually do build an audience. So say me, I'm in real time right now, building an audience in front of your face on YouTube. I don't make content for everybody. I make content for you. And since I make that content for you, there's so many other people out there that also are into similar things as you are and that have similar problems as you. Because the way that I built my business, it's very easy for me to tune in to who it is that I'm helping and who it is that I'm serving, because my avatar is simply just my former self. So you and I, if you feel any connection, it's because we're pretty much the same. You and me, and I am you, or are, however, I probably use my vocabulary wrong right now, but we're the same. I only make content for my previous self from 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago. That's why it's very easy for me to come up with content all the time, because I know what it was that I needed along the way. So I just make that stuff to help myself. And that's why I put so much feeling in, like when people be like, man, I can really see that you are really working to help me right now. Like you really care, because I care about myself, which is you. So that's why it feels like I'm like reaching through the camera, like, listen to me. You don't have to go through what I went through, because I've gone through a lot of pain on my entrepreneurial journey, and I don't want people to feel all that pain that I felt. Not saying that you won't feel any pain, because entrepreneurship, I don't care what any of these gurus try to make it seem like online, the shit's hard. So if you're already gonna go through some of the hard stuff, you don't have to go through the depths of hell like I've been with it. I want people to avoid some of those pitfalls. So you pick a niche, decide what the avatar is that you're going to help within that niche, and go deep until you become the voice for that transformation. You don't test new audiences, you test new messaging. Because when people don't buy, it's not that you picked the wrong crowd, it's that you said the right thing the wrong way. And everybody has different entry points into your world. So just imagine that this is you, this is your world, this is your offer, this is your niche, right? Well, to get to these different people, even though they're the same avatar profile, these people that are going to have similar problems, but everybody, they're not monolithic, right? People are different. So everybody's going to have a different door that they may have to walk into in order to get to your world. But you can show the same transformation through these different doors. So let's say, for example, that somebody is a fitness coach. Well, this fitness coach could test different entry points into their world. So say that this door is to lose fat without living in the gym. All right, without living in gym. I'm gonna just put living in gym. So let's say that they test this out, right? And there's somebody that may be pulled to that. Somebody may want to lose that fat without spending so much time in the gym. Somebody else might want to get healthy without giving up their favorite food, right? That might be an entryway through that door. Somebody else might want to build muscle with workouts that fit their actual real life activities. Like so many people out here doing these workouts, training like they're world-class athletes. I'm like, what? Where is that practical? As somebody that used to be an athlete, I just see the way that a lot of these people work out. I'm like, for what? You're actually hurting yourself. Like there's a reason why all these athletes, once they're done playing their sports, are walking around looking all crippled and knock-kneed and toes all messed up and getting surgeries and whatnot afterwards, because that stuff fucked them up. And there's just regular people out here that just go and work as a receptionist or just have a job as a banker, just sitting down all day, and they're training like they're some world-class athlete. I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me. But somebody may want workouts that fits their real life activities. Let's say that somebody's a spiritual healer. I say that just because I know in my community we have quite a few healers, right? So let's say that somebody's a spiritual healer. Well, they may be able to heal somebody's nervous system with breath and not burnout. All right, with breath, not burnout. I'm just putting not burnout. They may be able to help someone manifest peace before money, and then have both the peace and the money arrive, because they optimize for peace first. They may be able to position something as turning your intuition into daily structure. So turning intuition into daily structure. So all of these things, even though they sound different, they could all be the same offer, but they sound different when they're presented through different doors, through different entryways. And that's a lot of people's number one problem that I'm seeing out here. Simply comes down to positioning. And that's it. If they can just figure out a different way to position their offers, then they will start to get sales. Same way with your content. If you learn how to position your content differently, then you will start getting views from having the same exact type of content. So I'll give you an example of somebody that I was literally helping yesterday, somebody in my community. Her name's Fanyoy. Shout out to you, Fanyoy, if you happen to be watching this video. Fanyoy, she is working in the health and wellness space, but she has a way of healing the body through certain African practices that she has learned along the way and throughout her own journey, right? And she's looking to get in front of her target audience, to get in front of her avatar. And the way that she had positioned the piece of content to get in front of them, she thought of a video and she titled it, "How I Finally Lost Weight Without Punishing Myself, the African Way." And I was telling her, I was like, okay, I see where you're coming at with this title, because you want to tell your story about how you had your weight loss transformation, but you're thinking about what your offer is, and you're thinking that you have this African way that you had came up with for this transformation, and then you add that in the title also. So, how I lost weight without punishing myself, the African way. And she has great information in the video, but I was like, okay, let's think about the positioning here. Would that pique someone's interest or grab their curiosity? Probably not. But if she took that same concept and same information from that video, but positioned it differently and titled it something like, "How I Lost 40 Pounds and What No One Tells You About Weight Loss." And then when somebody clicks and chooses on that video, because they're like, oh, she lost 40 pounds and there's some secret that people are not talking about with weight loss. And then throughout that video, then she could educate them on what her African way of getting her body together was. But most likely people aren't going to be drawn to click on something that says like, this is the African way to heal your body. Just like I have another member in my community, Justina. We were just talking about this Wednesday on our call. Justina, she had found a way of healing herself that she wants to share with women out there, right? And she was saying that the whole world and doctors and friends and all these people were saying that these certain effects that she was going through, and she was like literally damn near on her deathbed, were certain effects and side effects of menopause and all this type of stuff. But it wasn't that. She changed her diet, and she has this particular diet that she uses that basically saved her life, and it was that. But if she packaged her offer, if she packaged any type of content talking about this secret diet, then that probably wouldn't pull anybody's curiosity. That probably wouldn't grab anybody's attention. But if she talks about how whatever these ailments that she was going through wasn't menopause, well, guess what? Other women that are around her age that are suffering from certain problems that she was suffering with are going to be looking for a solution to that painful problem that they're going through. And then she can introduce whatever her secret diet is to them. She can deliver her unique solution. And that all simply happens from positioning. So what a lot of people are doing is that they're treating their content and their offer like two separate things when they need to be treated as the same because they're equal. So any piece of content that I make, I treat it as if it is a product and it's an offer because I'm thinking about the positioning of it. So even this video, I have to think about my video as if it is an offer to the marketplace, because my video literally is an offer to the marketplace. I'm offering someone some valuable information to watch. They have to make the decision on if they want to take my offer or not. So I have to think about the positioning or the angle of my actual offer, which is going to be my content. So most entrepreneurs out there and most contentpreneurs out there, they're not thinking of any positioning of their content. Therefore, they're not going to get any of the right eyeballs on their content to convert a percentage of those eyeballs into the right positioned offer. So if I made this entire video about positioning, which this whole video is not going to be about positioning, but just as an example, if this whole video was about positioning, well, if I'm thinking about an offer to the audience to where they would want to take my offer, which is basically just consuming my content, well, what will be more enticing to them as far as a well-positioned video? How to properly position your offers, or the real reason why you're not selling digital products? I'm gonna go with the real reason why you're not selling digital products, which is why I titled that video that. Because I know that that's a pain that certain people are going through, and those people that are struggling with their sales are going to see that. They're going to be like, why am I struggling to sell my offers, versus seeing a video that's positioned this way? How to position your offers. That doesn't hit any curiosity, because always, no matter what, and never forget this, when anybody has an option to watch a video, there's always two paths that they can go. So on this path, they're going to go the information path, and this path, they're going to go the curiosity path. And every single time, well, I won't say every single time, but 9 times out of 10, that person is not going to take the path for information. The person is typically 9 times out of 10 going to take the path of curiosity. So when you understand this, you always keep this in mind in your positioning, whether that be in your content or in that offer. But you're going to have to think of it both ways, because without the content, you're never going to get people to your offer. And I keep that in mind with every piece of content that I make, and also in my offer. So think my offer right now is that it's credited at the top community. Well, I don't position that offer as learn how to create and scale digital products that are properly positioned for you to get in front of your target demographic. I position it as make more working less online from stuff that you already know. Which one sounds more enticing? I focus on the payoff, not the pieces. And so many entrepreneurs out there are focused on the pieces of their offer instead of the payoff, where you need to sell the vacation, not the trip. Now, the other thing keeping most creators down is that they're always attracted to the new shiny thing. Right? Call it shiny object syndrome, some call it. And shiny object syndrome, it keeps you broke. Every new platform, new trend, new tactic, they all look like the one thing that'll fix everything. But every single time you jump ship, you're starting at zero all over again. And typically the lifespan of a failing entrepreneur just looks like this. Starting, stopping, and never getting to any real highs, but always staying here in the lows. Because what most people don't understand is that success has an exponential growth curve. Typically, there's always going to be the anomalies, but typically this is how success works. So most people think, if this was a graph, most people think that success is linear like this, when it's not. It has an exponential growth curve. Success typically looks like this. But what most people miss is everything on this side of the axis that they didn't see. So typically success looks like this. Then it shoots up. So here you have absolutely nothing, right? Bare zero. But then you're at an all-time high here when you hear something new, because you consume some type of content or some ad or join some free webinar or challenge or something like that. And you're so excited and you're like, oh yeah, that sounds like something that I can do. They made it sound so easy. Like, yeah, let's do this. I'm inspired. I'm motivated. And people, they love that feeling of inspiration and motivation, but they don't realize that it's a feeling. And just like any other feeling, they fade. Just like how you're not happy all the time, you're not mad all the time, you're not sad all the time, you're not gonna feel motivated and inspired all the time either. So typically when that feeling fades, people quit. And people love to feel inspired. People love to feel motivated, but they don't have the discipline to stay doing the thing when they don't feel motivated to do the thing. So what typically happens after you get here, then you realize that you're ignorant and you don't know how to do anything. And this stuff is actually going to be harder than what whoever you've seen on the internet made it seem. Now you hit this low right here. Because like, dang, there's a lot of stuff that I need to learn. Dang, I came across this one Aston CEO video, and he said that he made over 7 figures online in his business, and his first digital product did a little over 900K. But you don't realize that you got to learn branding. You don't realize that you got to learn marketing. You don't realize that you got to learn sales. But through branding alone, you got to learn content. You got to learn packaging. Oh, but through packaging alone, you got to learn copywriting. Oh no, I thought copywriting was only for sales page and emails and stuff like that. Shouldn't that be something that goes into marketing? Yeah, but if you're thinking about content, what is packaging? Packaging is simply just copywriting. One of the reasons why I can make good titles and good thumbnails, even though they don't look like high effort thumbnails, there's some psychology that goes behind it, because I understand copywriting. And if you're doing copywriting, say on a paid marketing side, what most digital marketers think of when they think of copywriting, they're only thinking of advertising and email marketing campaigns and whatnot. But even if you think about an ad, what is a great ad? A great ad has a great headline and great copy. It's a headline to get your attention, and then the actual copy of the ad, whether that be through text or through whatever it is that they're saying in the ad, right? Well, what is a title and a thumbnail? Well, a thumbnail is simply a headline, and then the copy will be like the title. So then you learn like, oh man, there's all this stuff that I do gotta learn. And most people either quit right here or they quit within here. But what you don't see behind the scenes from successful entrepreneurs is that they had some stick-to-itiveness and they stuck through it. Through all these parts where it doesn't look like you're getting any results. Where most people quit because they don't think that it works, it's actually working on you. It's impossible for work not to work. So if you're in a position where something's not working for you, it's working on you and it's turning you into the person that you need to be for it to work for. But most people don't ever let the work on them. Therefore, they can never turn into the person that the work can work for, and they never get this exponential growth curve right here. And this part right here is what most people try to emulate. This part right here is what most people see all over the internet. You didn't see this part right here. And then everybody tries to emulate that, and they wonder why they can't get the results as that other person that they saw, but they weren't willing to do what that other person did because they spent the time to stay here, whereas most people quit here and just stay doing this, hitting low after low after low, starting something, quitting something, starting something, quitting something, starting something, quitting something. But over here, we don't chase trends. We master timeless skills, communication, consistency, and conversion. That's what prints money in any season now. Remember this. Write it down. Take a picture. I don't give a... I don't know why that just came to my head. You remember on Friday when Felicia was trying to borrow Smokey's car? She's like, I'm going to remember that, Smokey. I said, remember it. Write it down. Take a picture. I don't give a fuck. I think I might watch Friday tonight. That's actually my favorite Christmas movie. Every time Christmas comes around, I watch Friday After Next and Batman Returns. Those are my two favorite Christmas movies. And people try to tell me that both of them aren't Christmas movies. But I'm like, Friday After Next, they trying to catch Santa Claus. That's a Christmas movie. And Batman Returns takes place over Christmas. Sorry, just some random stuff that came to my head. But really, remember this. Mastery is boring before it becomes profitable. And so many people are thinking that entrepreneurship is some exciting stuff because they're looking at everybody's marketing that they're doing online, and they're looking at people's highlight reels and thinking that that's what it is on a day-to-day basis. It's not. Making money is boring, and you have to be able to do the boring things on a daily basis in order to make some real money. Now, the other thing, and this might be the biggest thing that's really holding people's sales back, is that they're putting learning over doing. When it needs to be opposite, and it needs to be the doing that's over the learning. And typically, when you do, that's how you actually do learn at an accelerated pace. You don't need more information, you need more implementation. Most creators treat YouTube like a classroom instead of a business, and they're addicted to learning because it feels safe. There's no risk, there's no rejection, there's no feedback. But knowledge that doesn't get applied, it just turns into clutter. The moment you learn something new, apply it that same day. Don't wait. If it works, document it. If it doesn't, refine it. Either way, you move forward. And that's how you actually figure out what works for you. And that's how you actually figure out what information that you need to go out and seek. A lot of times people don't even know what it is that they need to learn to do because they haven't done anything. And I know because I used to be like that. I used to just learn and read stuff or listen to an interview and then hear them talk about some book that they should be reading and then go out and read the book and not do anything from the book that I just read because I'm not even in a position to do anything with the information. I remember years ago, this had to be around 2017-ish, 2018-ish, maybe somewhere around there. I was listening to this guy and he had recommended to read this book called Traction by Gino Wickman. And this guy was talking about how this book just changed his business and it just helped him grow his business so much. And I was like, okay, I need to go and get that book so I can learn. And clear as day, on the front cover, it says, this book is for business owners and their management team. And I'm somebody as a solopreneur in 2017 that was only making a few $1,000s a month. Why am I sitting here reading a book that says on the cover, it is for business owners and their management team? I had no management team, just wasting time reading the book. I couldn't apply any of that stuff. I had no management team. So why am I reading a book about a team to manage when there's no team to manage? And I see this stuff all the time. Like people are sitting here thinking that they're learning from all this content, listening to these people talk about how they took their company from 50 million to 250 million. I'm like, why? Why are you watching that? It's just like, you remember when that one topic went viral? I can't remember how much money it was, but it was like, would you take this amount of money or have dinner with Jay-Z? And some people were just trying to sound so smart, like, no, you don't understand. You need to take the meeting with Jay-Z because of the information that he can give you. I'm like, even if he did give you some information, you're not in any position to do anything with it. You better take that money. And I even heard an interview from Jay-Z, and he even said to take the money because he was like, what I'm going to tell you, I'll put it all in the music. Like, you'd be better off just listening to the music, because if you do listen to Jay-Z's music, he does give you a blueprint. I credit Jay-Z and Nipsey Hussle for a lot of things that I do know about entrepreneurship, especially Nipsey Hussle. I learned more from Nipsey Hussle than I did in college. And I have a degree in marketing with a professional sales concentration. I learned absolutely nothing about marketing, and I learned absolutely nothing about sales in college. What I did learn was how to get drunk and drink liquor very, very fast. That's what college taught me. But I'm like, for those people that would take the dinner with Jay-Z, like if he did bestow some true knowledge on you, you're not in a position to do anything with it. So what's the point of learning it? That's why anytime these people are put in a situation where somebody can ask them questions, they always ask them general questions. What keeps you motivated? What keeps you inspired? They always ask them stuff like that because they're not even in a position to where they could actually ask something to where they're going to get some real feedback on something that they could apply today. But that's how most people are, and especially with content, they're putting learning over doing, and learning is safe. But are you actually learning anything if you're not implementing it? Think about everything that you have actually learned how to do in real life. Did you learn how to drive a car by sitting there and reading books and watching videos about it? Or did you start driving the car? And most people are sitting here consuming content nonstop for hours upon hours per day, figuring out how to start, and then get upset when the person who they're consuming the content says some stuff that sounds like super general advice to them, like something like the best way to get started is to get started. And they're like, oh, they're keeping the secrets. Oh, they keeping the secrets. Why they don't want to give me the secrets? Start. How do I start? Start doing all that stuff in all that content that you've watched. Start doing what everybody is doing of all that content that you consume. Think about it. They create content for you to watch. You don't watch content for someone else to watch, yet you think that someone is going to discover you to buy an offer from you, when everybody else is making content so they can become the perceived authority within their space, so people will come to know them, like them, trust them, so they can monetize their offer. do what they do. But you're not stuck, you're just overeducated and under-executed. And because of that, your product and your offer isn't a movement yet, because people don't buy offers, they buy identities. If your content doesn't represent a belief system, then your product will never feel essential. Think about the biggest creators online. Think about their offers, think about their courses, think about their communities. They sell because people want to be like them. They represent clarity, they represent transformation, they represent belonging. Your goal isn't to make sales, your goal is to make believers. And here's the thing about belief also, right? Your goal is not to make them believers even. Like, your primary objective is to make them believe that you believe it. Think about this for a second. I could really care less if anybody believes that what I say is real or true or works regardless. But I want anybody that ever comes across any of my content to be like, oh damn, he really believes that shit. And it's mind-boggling to me how many people want somebody to buy something from them when they don't even sound like they believe in what they're saying. If you don't believe you, why should I believe you? You know, one thing that I really do respect, and I'm not talking about anybody's religions or anything like that, but have you ever sat down and talked to a Scientologist? They believe that shit. Have you ever been in front of like a mall in a large city and seen those people standing on soapboxes with signs and the megaphones talking about whatever their denomination of faith is? They believe that stuff. And that's how they get certain people to convert, because certain people are like, man, they really believe that stuff. Let me hear what they got to say. And then once they hear whatever it is that they got to say, they're like, I like that. I'll go ahead and I'll join your crew. Now, I'm not saying that you have to take it to that effect of like what I just said as far as religion and stuff like that, but you have to speak with so much conviction that people start to believe that you believe it. Therefore, they can start to adopt some of your beliefs. It's just what people do by nature. We're all followers. Everybody is a follower of another person, including myself, including the highest ranking individual on planet Earth, even though there should not be a highest ranking individual on planet Earth, because we're all the same. But it's natural for people to follow other people. Every leader only knows how to lead because they first followed. I was having a conversation a few weeks ago with this guy, and he's on some raw meat diet. That's literally all he eats is raw meat and salt. And he's educating me about it, and I'm like, hey, that ain't for me, but bro, you really believe that shit? I'm like, nah, I'm cool, bro. I'm about to holler at you. I'm about to go eat some mangoes. Like, I ain't about to give up my mangoes. So let me give you an exercise that you can do to make sure that this faucet stays on, right? Because remember, our sole job each and every single day when we wake up is to be like, okay, how can we keep this faucet on? And when I tell people that you need to be worrying about this on a day-to-day basis, they get overwhelmed because they're like, okay, I need to be out here on the grind each and every single day. I'm like, no, you can work on something every single day that will turn into an asset for you that will be working every single day, nonstop, literally 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, because you're not able to do that. So the thing that can keep this faucet on is our system. And system stands for saving yourself time, energy, and money, right? So you can go on what I like to call these 30-day sprints. And when I say this 30-day sprint, no, I'm not talking about some grind. I ain't talking about just a grind, hustle, grind, because the grind is killing folks out here. But this is about becoming a producer, because the main problem that you have right now is that you are a consumer more than you are a producer. So for the next 30 days, your rule is simple. Produce something every day. So produce something every day for a 30-day sprint. And I highly advise for this 30-day sprint, you work on producing a system for YouTube. Now, when I say this, people, they say like, oh, so does that mean that I have to post a video every single day for 30 days on YouTube? Nah, I ain't talking about that. If you can, that would be great. Not for the results of it, but to shorten the learning curve. Anything that I do, I'm not worrying about the output. I know I have no control over the outputs. I'm only focused on my inputs. And if I go on a run like that of producing something that can be consumed from somebody on a day-to-day basis, I'm solely doing that so I can just shorten my learning curve, so I can get my data and feedback back on a quicker basis. But I'm not saying that you will have to do that on a daily day, but work on something that will be adding to a system that could work for you every single day. So that could be writing an outline or writing a script. The next day could be recording that outline or that script that you wrote the previous day. The next day could be focused on editing that script that you recorded the previous day that you wrote the day before that. The next day could be focused on optimizing that content. Then the next day could be you scheduling or posting that content. The next day could be focused on reviewing analytics and taking notes. But regardless, every single day you're working on producing something that didn't exist in the world yesterday. And the goal within one of these 30-day sprints is not perfection, it's production. It's about you building momentum, and momentum is the foundation to mastery. And the reason why I say I highly suggest that you only focus on YouTube is because you don't have to be everywhere, but you need to be somewhere when you can be known for something. It's not a mistake. Like, it's not just by happen chance. All that I make is YouTube content right now. You can search me anywhere. You'll see that nothing has been posted anywhere since 2023. January 30th, 2024, I put all my chips on YouTube. Sometimes around October, November of 2023, I was like, okay, I'm about to go all in on YouTube. I took some time, studied the platform, formulated a strategy, started to implement my strategy January 30th, 2024, started seeing results pretty much day one because I strategized. I came up with a plan, and I said that this plan has no other option but to work, because I'm not going to give myself an option to pick something else. I made a decision. I didn't have any options to choose from. That's a lot of people's problem, is that they're making choices instead of making decisions. When you make a choice, you have options to choose from. When you make a decision, it's definitive. There's no other options. This is what I'm doing. I mentally made that decision. Therefore, I'm forced to figure out a way. But I picked YouTube because I realized that I don't need to be everywhere, but I need to be somewhere that compounds, and no other place compounds. Because YouTube has this crazy effect to whereas if you're focused on only making content for your avatar, and you only make that content for them, then YouTube starts to categorize your content. The algorithm categorizes you. It starts to figure out who it is that you're making your content for. Then they start to use their traffic sources, which YouTube has the craziest traffic sources, to put you in front of more people that fit your avatar's profile. YouTube's traffic sources are going to be the home screen, the search bar, the suggested tab, external traffic from Google, because Google owns YouTube. So then when you do have that offer, you can present that offer or that digital product to your audience. Then you can make the money. Then people that buy that offer, if you're thinking of delivering a true result to them, they get their transformation, which then leads to people becoming an evangelist for you, which is basically just an ambassador, which leads to more people buying your product. That gives you a flywheel effect that may take some time to get working, but over time, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and starts to work on itself and compound over time. All right? Nothing else has the power of that. And for my small YouTube channel, because I don't have the biggest YouTube channel yet, but with my background that I have in paid advertising, for the same amount of traffic my YouTube channel gets, I would have to spend $30,000 a month for the same amount of traffic that I get for free on YouTube. And actually, I don't get it for free. YouTube pays me because I get some money from AdSense. AdSense isn't the goal, but it's always nice to get a little cherry on top for some stuff that you were already going to do anyways. So I'm like, okay, so you're going to pay me to build my income, impact, and influence instead of me having to pay $30,000 a month to build my income, impact, and influence. I'm all in. And this is something that can make sure that this faucet here never cuts off. So when I say that you need to be doing something on a daily basis to get sales, you need to be doing something on a daily basis to get in front of the right people. You need to be doing something on a daily basis to where people are hearing about your offer, because most people's problem is that they're great at what they do, but absolutely nobody knows that they do it. Well, this can be a system that's running on autopilot that keeps this faucet on, that keeps this traffic within your pipeline to where you'll convert a percentage of that traffic and get your conversions, get your sales. I can't work every day nonstop 24/7, 365 days a week, but my YouTube channel can. It's literally a digital asset. I call it digital real estate. Not only am I making money just off of the eyeballs, but I'm making money off of converting that eyeballs into some sales into my offer. And they're both only going to compound over time together. And then each time I throw up a new video on my channel, the property value of all the other ones go up, just like in real estate. When there's new development going on down the street, the property value of the whole block goes up. The compounding effect is crazy. So think, if we're going on this 30-day sprint, I'm not saying that you have to even spend the most amount of time on this stuff, because with a true online business, I don't care what anybody says, and all these people talking about, oh, well, yeah, to reinvest the money back into the business, all that stuff. That a lot of people are saying that stuff to sound smart. There's not that much stuff that you have to do when you already have an offer created. So, flat out, the two main things that you need to focus on in order to make money: 2, offer creation, and then getting traffic to that offer. That's it. If the offer's created, cool, you're done. You create it one time, you can sell it over and over and over again and literally get paid forever. Now, as you're getting some sales, you're getting some feedback, you're seeing the results that people are getting, you're hearing what people have to say about it. Yeah, over time, you can refine your offer, but offer, pretty much done. Now, the one thing that you need to focus on consistently is getting traffic to that offer. Those are the only 2 things that you need to focus on. And when you're thinking of this, you can really get a lot done in a short period of time. On most days, I typically work no more than 4 hours a day. And that's with me creating content for my YouTube channel, creating educational content for my community, coaching the members of my community with my coaching calls and whatnot, answering every single question, my DMs, comments, all that type of stuff. Editing my videos, doing the thumbnails, because I still handle all of that, just because the amount of time leverage for me right now as far as outsourcing, it just doesn't make sense to me, just of the time that it would take to import and export something to somebody else to do very minimal edits on my video, and the time that it would take them to export that video to send it back, and then for me to export it, from just the time that it would take. And then the thumbnails, the time that it would take me to get back a thumbnail typically is even more than a video. And I'm like, okay, on YouTube, I've realized that I don't need to have any fancy thumbnails. I just need to have thumbnails that pique people's curiosity. I know how to do that. They may not look the best, but they do the job. But that's what me doing all this stuff. I typically don't work more than 4 hours a day, and 4 hours is pushing it. And I know that a lot of people may not have the luxury that I have. I won't even say the luxury, because I work for that joint, but they may not have an opportunity to just take 4 hours in the middle of the day. Or me, typically my time block is between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m., right? I know a lot of people have jobs, but if you can do these for at least 100 minutes a day, work on one of these things for your 30-day sprint every single day for at least 100 minutes. That's a little over an hour and a half. Everybody has access to that time. If you don't think that you do, wake up an hour earlier, go to sleep an hour later, boom, there goes your time. Or just check your screen time on your phone, and I guarantee that you spend more than 100 minutes a day on your phone. Cut that off, there goes your time block right there. And during this time, all that you are thinking about is producing, not consuming. And during this time, the focus isn't on whatever the output is going to be, because so many people are worried about outputs and results. Here's the thing, you have absolutely no control over the results of anything. What you do have sole control over are your inputs. And the reason why you want to focus on these inputs for a sprint of at least this 30 days is so that you can work on building the muscle of consistency. And consistency is a skill, and that's the number one skill that most people are lacking. So once you can lock in on that consistency muscle, then you know that you are going to consistently be putting in the inputs that can get you the desired outputs that you want, just like they get all their desired outputs. And if you're ready to make more working less online from stuff that you already know, go ahead and click the link down in the description and join this Credit at the Top community. For personal coaching from myself, all my exclusive trainings, plus a private community of entrepreneurs, all designed to grow your business online. It's only a few bucks a day to join right now, literally less than a cup of coffee per day. So go ahead and click the link down in the description and tap in. And I'll see you on our coaching call this Wednesday. But you don't need a new funnel. You don't need a new course. You don't need a new offer. You don't need to pick a new platform. You don't need to try to go out and get in front of a new audience. You need consistent attention with one message from one audience on one platform. That's all that you need to scale. And I'm telling you, that's literally all that you need to do to make literally $1 million. That's it. Focus on one offer to one avatar on one platform with one source of traffic. That's all that you need. And consistently work on getting in front of that audience every single day. So go ahead and click the link down in the description if you want to tap into the community. And I'll see you on our coaching call this Wednesday. Go ahead and check out this video right here for a complete system that you can build around your YouTube to make sure that this faucet to your pipeline never cuts off. It's Credit at the Top.